ATP testing in food safety systems, an introduction or a reminder. ATP testing is a technology used for measuring the cleanliness of surfaces in food handling environments. ATP test systems can detect traces of the chemical ATP on the surface being tested. ATP is adenosine triphosphate, a molecule found in all living cells. It's also present in materials that were once living, including food. ATP testing systems are kits which include an electronic device, disposable swabs for rubbing across surfaces, and supporting accessories such as calibration systems and reagents. Compared to traditional microbial surface swabs, ATP testing is much faster, providing instant results. However, ATP tests give positive results if any organic matter is present on a surface, whether or not it's from microorganisms or food debris. Because both living cells and non-living cells contain ATP, ATP testing can't show whether any microorganisms on a surface are alive or dead. So ATP testing can be used to detect the presence of organic material, such as food debris or microbial biofilm on a surface. Microbial techniques provide different information to ATP tests. They can differentiate between viable and non-viable microorganisms and food residues. They can also provide more quantitative information and be used to identify the presence of specific pathogens or indicator organisms on a surface. However, they take a lot of time to yield results compared to ATP testing. So the basic process for ATP testing, and there's a little diagram in the email and the post, is you have a disposable swab to swab the surface that's being tested. Then you place the swab back into its little container that it comes in, a tube with activating enzyme reagents. That creates a reaction with the liquid bathing the swab, and then you insert the sample into a luminometer, and that reads the light that comes out from the chemical reaction. It converts it into a numerical test result. ATP test results are reported in relative light units, RLUs, which correspond to the amount of light released during an enzyme-mediated reaction inside the test unit. The more ATP in the sample, the more light is emitted, and the higher the number of RLUs recorded by the device. Higher readings therefore indicate more organic matter in the sample and indicate a dirtier surface than samples with lower RLU results. What ATP tests can do: indicate the presence of organic material on a surface, monitor the effectiveness of cleaning and sanitation processes, provide almost instant results so corrective actions can be taken immediately, enhance training of cleaning staff because results provide an objective and instant measure of success, aid deep cleaning processes such as when disassembling machinery to identify problem areas. What ATP tests cannot do: distinguish between living and dead organic matter, indicate the presence of low numbers of microorganisms or specific pathogens, indicate the presence of inorganic dust, dirts or fibres, enumerate bacteria or other microorganisms on surfaces. How does the food industry use ATP testing? ATP testing is usually conducted in-house by the food company's personnel. It's used for verifying that surfaces have been properly cleaned before they are sanitised and for environmental monitoring programs. ATP swabbing can be used to measure the cleanliness of direct food contact surfaces such as slices, utensils or conveyor belts. Indirect food contact areas such as parts of machines adjacent to food streams. Hard to clean areas such as nozzles, grooves, joints and O-rings. And environmental areas such as walls, floors and drains. And in the email and the post, I've got an infographic that shows how the RLU readings get smaller as you clean a surface for 3 different food types. How much do ATP test systems cost? A fact sheet published by the Institute of Food Safety at Cornell University in February 2024 explains the cost of ATP testing to food businesses, and the prices that I'm about to quote are in US dollars. So I'm reading directly from the fact sheet here. There are initial costs up front and then ongoing costs as you perform ATP testing. Luminometers range from about $1,500 to $3,500. Sometimes the luminometer purchase includes swabs, which increases the cost. Swabs usually come in a case of 100 swabs and range in cost from about $225 to $360 per case. The enzyme solutions that are part of the swab will expire. This is important to consider when purchasing swabs. Additional materials include calibration kits, positive controls, and carrying cases. Some of the luminometers include software that will link to your computer so you can keep electronic records. 5 facts you might not know about ATP tests. At least 1,000 bacterial cells, so that's 10 to the 3, must be present in a sample for there to be enough ATP to be detected by commercial ATP testing systems. ATP tests recreate the chemical reactions that produce bioluminescence in marine bacteria and fireflies, making use of the naturally occurring enzyme luciferase. The numerical results delivered by one brand of ATP test equipment will be different to another brand's unit. Pass-fail levels need to be set based on the test unit used and can't automatically be used with different brands or models of testing device. Some sanitizers interfere with the ATP bioluminescence reaction. ATP tests can be used for water quality testing, including for recreational waterways, by indicating the presence of biological contamination.